Welcome back to the If You Build It podcast, a podcast dedicated to the journey of entrepreneurs. I'm your co-host, Riyad Ali, alongside the one and only
Will Ellis. Thank you. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We launch episodes every other week. And I am very excited about, well, you know what? We interviewed Yvette's husband, the wonderful Trevor Ryan Greenall, episode 4.
Yeah, early on.
Episode 4. And we really wanted to get Yvette. Yvette is the brains, the skill, the driver of the business. You know, Trevor does all the great stuff of marketing the business.
Yeah.
But we have an award winner right here in Yvette. Yvette
Yes.
Greenall, owner
Yes.
of Ink2Scalp.
Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Of course. Now, Ink2Scalp does what, to remind everyone?
Okay. So it's a form of cosmetic tattooing. If you're a bald man, someone who has scars, alopecia, we place little impressions on the scalp to mimic hair follicles. So like a shaved head.
Right. Now, how did you get, when you were thinking about doing this, where did the idea come from?
It wasn't so much an idea because it did exist. It just wasn't like mainstream, right?
So what drew you to this?
Well, I've always been very artsy. I have an art background. And Trevor was at the time going bald. And we started to look into solutions for him, right? Like, hair transplants and that kind of thing. And nothing suited what he was after. And then we found out that this was a treatment that was out there in the world, although not mainstream yet. And that sort of got us to dive into it. And the more we researched, the more we found this is really cool. And, he was my guinea pig. So
right. Right. So from the idea to it becoming a business, how long, how many months was it?
Oh, gosh.
What was the training like?
Yeah. So I think when we actually were exposed to it and then finally opened our business, it was probably about a 2-year window. By the time we researched, trained, we did a lot of traveling to go to, as we were researching, we went to a lot of facilities. So it was a bit of a journey. It was also like, is this something we want to do? Like, a business is a scary thing. So never mind the fact that we loved the treatment, loving the treatment and loving being a business owner is two very different things. So yeah, once we started doing it and getting into it, we couldn't turn it off. You can't unknow what you know.
How many years now in business?
Almost 7.
Crazy.
7. Like, to me, I'm like, I feel like it was yesterday. Well, maybe not yesterday, but
right.
It was still very recent, but yeah, 7 years and still loving it.
How exhausting is a day?
How exhausting as a day?
Yeah, for your hands and
you're literally
concentration.
It's like being a doctor almost, right? When you think about it.
Well, I don't want to put myself in that category by any stretch.
Well, the level of focus.
The level of focus. I mean, yes. The great thing is, Trevor and I partner together really well, that there's certain treatments that he's really good at and there's certain treatments that I'm really good at. And so
what's he good at? Just curious.
Amongst many things, he's really good with density. So when you're working with hair, that's a whole other animal than when you're working with nothing at all. A totally blank canvas, right, is different than when you have hair that you're working with, right? You have to navigate through that and things. So, yeah. Did I answer that question?
Yeah, you did.
And
how tiring?
Yeah,
yes.
How tiring is it?
We only take a certain amount of people a day for that exact reason, right? Our eyes, our hands, we always have to be at our best. And you get tired. And there was a time in life when I would do 3 a day. And I realized, you can't. You have to know when to stop. And it always has to be excellence leaving our studio. Not that it ever wasn't, but I was extremely fatigued at some points. And that wasn't fun. So you learn to have balance in life.
Right. How did you get to that point where you figured out 3 is too much, 2 is just the right amount? Because when you're a business owner, your goal is to go, make as much money as possible. What made you, outside of being fatigued, what was the other things you sort of factored in?
It was just life balance. I found I was just missing the downtime, the family time, the leisure time.
I was just about to ask that, being a mother, how did you balance that?
It wasn't, in the beginning, I wasn't doing a good job. I wasn't. And I knew that things needed to change. I was just trying to do as much as I can, especially as a business starting out. You want to take as much and make as many people happy and know you and see your work. And Trevor and I have always been such an amazing team together that, we would mitigate things so that exhaustion wasn't too much. And even with two of us helping each other, it was still very readily clear that too much was on, specifically at that time, my plate.
Right.
So,
now, working with your husband.
Yes.
Now, how did you guys come to that thought of being a team, running a business together?
Yeah.
And you have your work, you got your leisure together.
Yeah.
How do you guys balance that? All of that.
There's a lot of time together.
Right.
Yeah.
And how is that working?
I don't want to sound cliche, but it's working great. I think we both know it's so cliche, right? Like, stop, just cut. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think it's just, we know our pillars. We know what we're good at in the business. We know when we need breaks socially. And, our son is a wonderful guy that is so understanding too. And also is like, Mom, I think you need a break, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's funny how everyone really can see whether you're flourishing, whether you're tired, so we really work together as a family to kind of like, help each other out.
Right.
And it's okay. So I've learned to say, no, I've always been a yes person.
You.
Always.
Let me be very clear.
Always.
I don't believe that at all.
I have.
But as an entrepreneur, it's hard sometimes to say no.
But in general, you're a yes. You?
In general, I am.
That surprises me.
Okay. Well,
I've never
welcome to meeting Yvette Greenall.
Yeah. Well, I've known Yvette for almost 20 years, and I've never heard you once say, "Okay, yes."
Yeah. No, I have always been, or I don't like to disappoint, if that's better phrased. Maybe. I don't like to disappoint. Now, socially disappointing and business-wise disappointing, again, that's two different things,
that's true.
Right? No one is going to care about the success of your business other than you and the people that are most immediate to you.
Right.
So if we don't say yes to this person and then, then they're going to go somewhere else. And, if we want to be able to help them, right?
Right.
So I've learned that it's okay to say no, or maybe later, or, to not always be exerting yourself. Right?
Yes. And you said pillars. So you and Trevor obviously have your roles within the company.
Yes.
And Trevor is the social media guy, the face. You are behind the scenes award win. What's the award you recently won?
So Best Artist North America. So I have to be clear. I was nominated for top four. I did not win that award, but I was nominated as top four. And
that's
to me,
thing, right?
That's amazing.
In my world, I will take that as a win anyways.
Yes.
So I was amongst many wonderful artists out there.
A lot of men in the industry, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of men. There's some women in there as well that are wonderful. A lot of them also do PMU, and then also do this on permanent makeup. So like
eyebrows,
lips and brows and eyeliners and stuff.
Lips.
Yeah.
Was there any females in the top four?
No.
Wow, there you go.
There you go. Amazing.
No.
So you're the top female in the world.
In North America.
We'll say the world.
I'll take that.
I don't know who's evaluating these awards.
Yeah,
We're the top female in the world.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it was I was speechless and humbled. And to be honest with you, you have to submit your work. And I didn't know it was submitted, but my wonderful husband was like,
that sounds very Trevor.
That is so Trevor. And he was like, people need to see what you've done. And I always feel like he pushes me to do a lot of things. That's why I'm here today. That I wouldn't do.
That's true, but you need that, right?
You do. You need
to be celebrated, because I think a lot of times, how do I put this? People like yourself.
Yes.
You need to let people showcase and see what you have done, because Rhea and I were out a a few months ago with, I think, your husband.
Okay.
And Adiran's girlfriend, whose brother went to your business.
Yes,
and
yes.
she had no idea that we knew you.
Okay.
And Trevor didn't even mention the business, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right.
And she praised, her brother loved how you worked, loved the location, very confidential, because you're in an industry where it's at times not everyone wants to talk about what they're doing with their hair, right?
Absolutely.
Whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so when you guys set up the business, what were kind of the parameters you sort of want to establish so your clients felt safe?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
Currently, we have it in our home. It's a studio in our home. And we always ask clients, like, how did you feel coming to a home? All right. Because really, it could feel not.
It's weird too, right? You pull up on a street and you're
you're kind of like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
And clients are really comfortable because it's so discreet. It's quiet. Nobody really knows why they're there.
You could be visiting a friend,
right?
Yeah.
And so I think that minimizing the exposure of this treatment they're getting makes them feel more comfortable.
So
Right.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
We asked Trevor this.
Yeah.
Was there a moment ever starting this that you said you didn't want to do this anymore? Like
Yeah, for sure.
And what was that moment for you?
I think it was when I first started doing this, I was trying to balance a full-time office job and do this on the side because I loved to do it. But the problem with that is that you can't give your best everywhere. You can't be a great mom, a great business owner, a great artist, a great colleague. You can't do it all.
Something's got to give.
And I thought to myself, something has to give. Do I stay with the security of a job that is, the pension, the benefits, all the comforts there? Or do you take a risk and do something that you love to do? And I toyed with that for longer than I should have. Probably a good 2 years.
Yes. And what was the pushing point or the point in your life when you said, I got to do it?
My family suffered 100%. I felt...
But you suffered.
I suffered. I felt disengaged. I felt I had no capacity for anything. And I was giving everything to the business because truly that's where my heart was. But at the expense of other things that means so much too. And so I had to let the office job go, and it was the best thing I ever did. And it was longer than I should have waited.
Right, because the moment you let that job go, what happened to you?
I felt like freedom, joy. I felt my energy was being put where I wanted it to, and my spare time was with the people I wanted to spend it with, not in my basement all the time. So I think that not everything you lose in life is a loss, and letting go of things by choice makes room for so many other things that mean more, right, to you. So that was my point when I was like, everything's suffering, me, family, everything. And I'm like, something's got to give. And it was like that day. And once you make that decision, it's for me anyways, I couldn't stop that. I couldn't be like, well, maybe I'll think about it more. I was like, no, this needs to happen like right now.
Right.
So
that's huge. Mm-hmm. Very important.
It is.
And what's the most satisfying part of your job?
Again, it's going to sound so cliche, but I like making people happy with what I'm able to give them. Right. There's people leave there and they're truly like so appreciative, and it's almost like a weight is lifted off their shoulders, right? You give them a sense of freedom for doing something that you enjoy doing is like the best thing in the whole world. So
good answer. Yeah. That's how we feel about real estate though.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole reason why, right?
And because when you give someone a home and you're like, you feel like you're giving back, right? You're giving them something that like they, maybe couldn't find on their own.
But you're also in an industry, because I think about myself, like I would never, like I'm okay being bald.
No.
I'm okay with it. Some men are very embarrassed by it. They're, the end. And you're 100%. Giving them back hope and
comfort.
Dreams and their everything.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Yes.
And that's what we like when I look at your social media, the thing that also surprised me is what women get out of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Arguably, you could say that women actually struggle more when they are experiencing hair loss than than men, right? Because it's not common. Like a woman generally isn't going to be like, well, I'll just shave it. I don't have that much there. I'm just going to shave it, right? There isn't really that solution for them. It's sort of like, this is how it's going to be, right? And it's not for everybody. Like this treatment is not for everybody. Like transplants might suit other people. Being bald, like people look great being bald at different, it's not for everybody. And that's an okay thing too, to say like, you're not there, you don't need it. Right?
Do a lot of people come in, do the consultation and then realize it's not for them?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes you ask a series of questions and you can gauge where someone's at with things, right? And some people are not at the point where they're ready to maybe shave their head and let it go. And other people are just like, I realized coming here that I am okay with being bald and this isn't for me. And that's okay too. Isn't that what research is for?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to research solutions. And if nothing fits what you're looking for, then you don't do anything. And if it does, then great. Right. So, but awesome. Research is a key thing. Right?
Yes. So when you're not working and you're out and about in the greater Durham region area, what is your favorite place to go and shop or eat, or what's your favorite restaurant or place to go?
That's a tough one because
I know
it's a tough one. We recently went out to Tangerine. Quite enjoyed that place.
Oh, you do?
I also like the sushi. There's a sushi box, the poke bowl.
Yeah, poke
that
bowl.
one I really like.
Yeah. Yes.
I really like that too. I'm always up for like anywhere to go to eat. Shopping, there's not like, Oshawa Mall is Oshawa Mall. How many times can you go to Oshawa Mall, right? I like getting out, going to the city, traveling a little bit to go shopping and stuff like that.
Thing.
No.
On your downtime, what like if you have a day off, what do you do?
Oh.
How do you recharge?
Time, just quiet. Depends if my kid's around or not. It's different. It's a different type of recharge when I'm hanging out with the family or doing something with him.
Right.
Sometimes just quiet, like read a book, grab a tea. Quiet. Now, if it's summer, I'm walking with my dog. I'm outside.
So what's a typical day look like to you?
Typical day. Walk my kid to school in the morning, come back, work on a client. Usually I take 2 clients a day. Trevor typically will take 1 or 2 depending on his schedule is a little bit more focused on the business side. So he needs time in his day to, as you guys know, be doing all the social media and stuff like that is a full-time job. So he has to carve that in daily. Where I most typically have 2 a day, and first one in the morning, 9:30 until about noon. I grab a bite to eat, have some downtime and start again at 2, finish around 4:30. Walk up, get my kid, dinner, hang out. That's my day. It's my most typical day. And Trevor's in and out, and we're always crossing paths and making sure things are done. But it's amazing how when you're working, even in a house, we don't see each other. Yeah. Like we're doing different things, So
what's next 5 years look like for you?
Because I think that there's something really special about saying where I'm at is okay and good. But then there's that business side that, always is in the back of your mind. And I think Trevor's vision and my vision, not always parallel in terms of where to go.
True.
But we do want it to grow. I'm so happy being in my basement doing my thing, honestly. Like I really enjoy just one-on-one with clients, getting to know them, making this change for them. But I think also there would be some sort of disservice there if we weren't able to bring it to more people. Yeah. So I think there is hopes to expand. At what capacity, we're not quite sure what that looks like yet. But we'll see. I don't want to put anything out there that, knock on wood, make it not happen. But expansion is there.
And how could somebody find you? What are your socials?
So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those social media platforms. I don't know all the handles and stuff.
Yes,
but
it's Ink2Scalp.
Yes, of course, Ink2Scalp.
Ink2Scalp. It's
Ink2Scalp. Ink2Scalp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to add? Any other questions?
No. Thanks for having me. I appreciate just being able to share what we do, right?
Because I think it's important that we had Trevor on months ago, and now we have you on.
Yeah.
Because Trevor is, of course, a social media guy, Mr. Analytical, and and you're very thoughtful and thought about how you word things, and you're behind the scenes. Yeah. And I think that's why you guys work. Because when you have a business that involves a husband and a wife, that balance at times is hard.
It's hard.
So how do you guys when you're not working, both of you, how do you guys focus on your relationship as parents, as husband and wife?
I think you actually have to formally say, like, we're not talking about, like, you have to cut it off at some point. You also, I find, have to take yourself out of the environment.
Yes.
Like,
separate the two.
Separate yourself, because we're in the house. We are business all the time, and it's right there. It's so accessible. Let me just finish this and do that and change this and upload that, right? Like, you have to make a point. Just like people say, you have to make a point of taking vacation. Like, you have to actually, like, do it, leave, book something. Because if you don't, you just don't. Yeah. And then after a while, you're like, 2 or 3 years goes by and you're like, why am I so burnt out and foggy and tired, right? So I think pulling yourself out of it is a huge thing for us. And again, that's something I've learned.
Well, that's amazing. Yvette Greenall, owner.
Co-owner.
Well, let's say owner. Owner
Brains.
of Ink2Scalp.
Yes.
Available on all social media. Again, you can follow us if you build the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Yvette's story, like everyone's story on this show, is one about figuring out what you love, following your dreams, and not letting life pass you by, and make sure you are living your best life. I think you're living your best life right now.
Living my best life, for sure.
So thank you for your story.
Thank you
so
for
much
having
coming
me.
on. I love you.
Thank
You're the
you.
best.
Thank you.
We will see you soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.